Hey guys, if you keep walking away from dating connections feeling like you're the one doing more, caring more, initiating more, or carrying more of the responsibility for the relationship's success, listen up. Because one of the clearest signs that a connection is not a good fit or not viable is that it lacks mutual benefit and likely reciprocity. Mutual benefit in dating refers to the idea that both people in the relationship gain positive and desirable outcomes from their connection. Mutuality refers to the shared understanding of how each person benefits from the relationship. It is a collective sense of the relationship's purpose, goals, and emotional connection. Reciprocity in dating refers to the mutual exchange of behaviors, feelings, and support that creates feelings of balance and fulfillment. The key aspects of reciprocity are mutual effort and emotional participation in the connection. So if dating keeps leaving you feeling overextended, underconsidered, and subtly taken advantage of, there's a good chance the problem is not that you're asking too much. The problem is likely that you are in a connection where mutuality and reciprocity are lacking and in some cases non-existent. So in this video, I want to discuss the dynamics of mutuality and reciprocity, why they are so important, and what a grown-up dating perspective looks like if you want to stop overgiving and tolerating less effort in your dating connections. I will explain the goal and desired outcomes of mutuality and reciprocity and the timeline with which you can determine if it's developing properly. And I'll also share how to start experiencing more balance when it comes to your investment of time and effort so you can feel more emotionally connected, appreciated, desired, and valued. With this guidance, dating relationships will feel safer, logical, and more rooted and grounded, with intentions and actions that you can trust and depend on over time. Hi, I'm Cathy Bracken, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I appreciate each and every one of you taking time to drop by and hang out with me for a bit. Don't forget to subscribe, tap that notification bell, and give the video a thumbs up. Your support allows me to continue creating my unique brand of self-improvement content aimed at educating, empowering, and inspiring positive transformation in you, the viewer. Now let's dive back in. To begin, let's set the goal for pursuing mutuality and reciprocity. When a connection exhibits strong aspects of each, both people typically experience a range of very positive emotions over time. Feelings such as trust, contentment, motivation, emotional support, and greater affection and intimacy. Now you may be asking, Cathy, how long does mutuality and reciprocity take to develop or manifest? And what should I be looking for? And those are both great questions. And the answer to the first question is about a year. And the answer to the second is to observe behaviors and outcomes. Now, a reasonable timeline looks like this. From months 1 to 3, in the early stages of a relationship, people can gauge mutuality and reciprocity through actions, communication patterns, and shared values. I call this the initial assessment stage. At this early stage, you're just gathering data. You'll need time for greater clarity to develop and behavioral patterns to emerge. Next is the deeper understanding stage. This stage occurs between months 3 to 6, and during this stage, recurring interactions with one another will reveal the consistency of mutual support and reciprocal behaviors. This is where the give and take should feel balanced. And the last stage of the timeline is what I call the confirmation stage. Now, this usually occurs between 6 months to a year. And at the 1-year mark, partners should by now have enough confirmations of the mutual intentions and reciprocal behaviors. At this stage, both people can clearly recall how they faced different situations together and observe how each person demonstrated a desire and willingness to engage with each other after navigating some challenges and celebrating relationship milestones together. If a connection can get to this point, there's a great chance that a solid foundation of mutuality and reciprocity has been laid. Couples at this point should be communicating well and openly about their feelings, expectations, and goals for the relationship. And should the relationship continue for a longer, extended period of time, say 2 years or longer, mutuality and reciprocity begin to look like deep trust, profound emotional intimacy, and a strong commitment to each other. Now let's pivot to the first area of mutuality and reciprocity to pay attention to, which is whether there is mutual respect and mutual interest. That means both people are showing up with honesty, consideration, and a real desire to know each other. You both want to be there in the same way. It means one person is not always the one asking questions, carrying the conversation, creating the warmth, or trying to keep the connection alive. Now, I understand that people have different communication styles, different personalities, and different ways of expressing interest, but there should still be enough viable care and enough visible curiosity so that a person doesn't feel like they're trying to generate a relationship all by themselves. A useful question to ask yourself after a few interactions is, if I were to describe this connection honestly at this point, would I call it mutual, ambiguous, or imbalanced? That question helps cut through the fantasy and the initial temptation to romanticize the connection too quickly. If mutual respect is present, both people should feel considered and appreciated. If mutual interest is present, both people should feel joy, excitement, connection, and curiosity. The second thing to pay attention to is whether there is a mutual investment of time, effort, and attention. This is where many people get confused because flexibility and compromise do matter here. One person may have a more demanding schedule. One person may be in a demanding caregiving season, and one person may just have less free time for a short while. But mutuality in this area is not about identical behavior. It's about intentionality. Are both people doing their best to make room in their lives for the connection? If one person is consistently initiating, adjusting, accommodating, checking in, and making time while the other just receives all the benefit of that effort, the connection is fundamentally lopsided. This is where emotional debt accumulation starts. And these are the seeds of resentment and feeling like the other person owes you something for all your sacrifice. Do not take that path. Simply pay attention to whether the investment of time, effort, and attention feels reasonably shared. If not, address the issue. Let this be an opportunity for honest conversation. Together, answer these questions. Are both of us making plans? Are we both following through? Are we both protecting time for the connection? Are we both contributing attention and not just consuming it? Then discuss the answers and perspectives to find a win-win. This is not a conversation to cast blame. It is a conversation that brings awareness to an issue. You cannot fix, repair, or resolve a problem or issue that you are unaware of. So be gracious in your approach. When mutual investment is present, you feel more secure, more relaxed, and less like you're auditioning for importance. The third area of mutuality and reciprocity in dating is the financial aspect. This is where traditional dating assumptions are arbitrarily applied, especially in modern dating. This creates unnecessary pressure, confusion, and even quiet embarrassment, especially for men who are average earners and even some high earners. Many adults are still carrying old scripts about who should always pay, who should initiate certain experiences, and what the financial effort is supposed to prove. But grown-up dating asks a better question. What creates respect, fairness, and comfort for both people in this specific connection? That is why respectful, honest conversation matters. If one person cannot comfortably afford certain outings, that should not be a source of shame. If one person prefers a more traditional rhythm, that should not be silently imposed as the only acceptable model. And if both people want or need something more flexible or creative to make the relationship work, that should be discussed openly and respectfully instead of making assumptions and imposing hardships. Strangers have no real knowledge about another person's financial status, situation, obligation, or plans. You cannot haphazardly draw conclusions regarding people based on how they present in public. If you do, you are operating in a fantasy, mind-reading headspace, not based in reality. Plus, without an on-the-record conversation, another person's finances are none of your business. It is their money, and you are not entitled to make assumptions about it or spend it for them just because you want it or need it. Sometimes the most mutual thing two adults can do is remove the pretense and assumptions from the equation. A simple conversation can create understanding from the beginning. It can make room for compromise. It can prevent offense and resentment. And it can open the door for more creative win-win choices and spending solutions that still allow both parties to feel respected, valued, and generous without one person, usually the man, feeling financially burdened or overextended. In midlife, our finances are seldom simple, linear situations. Often they are complicated and multifaceted for a litany of reasons. Either way, a conversation must be had. And let me add this to the conversation. It is my experience and observation that generally most men do not mind financially covering dating expenses. They just don't appreciate ingratitude, entitlement, exploitation, selfishness, and a disregard for their efforts in this area. Also, if the woman has a substantially greater ability to finance a dating connection by herself, it has been also my observation that two extremes can emerge. She either feels entitled to exert control, dominance, and disrespect in the connection, or she feels like she's helping them in an overly nurturing way. In either extreme, both can make a man feel emasculated. Therefore, neither is beneficial for the relationship over time. The fourth thing to pay attention to is whether there is a reciprocity of attachment, which includes attraction, affection, and emotional intimacy. Reciprocity is not just whether someone says they like you, it's whether their intentions, actions, and efforts actually meet you in the connection. This includes reciprocal actions of attachment. Your person wants to know that you find them physically attractive and that you desire them and feel strong chemistry with them. If one person wants a relationship for convenience or platonic connection, and the other one wants attention, affection, emotional intimacy, and physical intimacy, there is no mutuality of intent there, and definitely no reciprocity brewing. One denotes indifference, apathy, and emotional distance, while the other denotes emotional bonding, strong chemistry, and the desire to connect physically. These aspects are defined as attachment. And in a healthy connection, attachment must be mutual. Any mismatch will eventually create a lot of confusion and pain. Reciprocity in this area can be identified by asking the following questions. In this current connection, is there follow-through by both of us? Are we both initiating affection and intimacy? Are we both okay with PDA, public displays of affection? Is there an effort to express desire and appreciation for each other? Do we actively show up for each other? Do we actively communicate that we have chosen each other? Nothing hurts more than finding out that both people in a relationship are having vastly different perceptions about the connection and the other person. Each person must be open to initiate and reciprocate actions that demonstrate real care and concern for the other person and their needs. And this is where understanding each other's love languages can help. One person may naturally show care through practical effort. Another may show it through verbal warmth, affection, and quality time. Difference does not automatically mean incompatibility, but if both people are not learning how the other experiences love and intent, a person can feel totally neglected while the other thinks that they're giving so much. The key here is this. In a healthy connection, attachment to each other should feel mutual, and if it doesn't, you are likely misreading or misunderstanding the connection. When reciprocity of attachment is present, effort doesn't have to be extracted. It is both obvious and visible. So let's tie it all together. If midlife dating has been leaving you feeling overextended, underappreciated, or emotionally drained, one of the first things to examine is whether there exists mutuality and reciprocity. And the more, the better. The solution is not to become disillusioned, change your generous nature, or resort to scorekeeping. The solution is to stop romanticizing one-sidedness and start honoring that which is truly mutual in regards to intentions and actions. Mutuality encompasses mutual respect, mutual interest, and mutual investment of time and attention. Reciprocity means that there is enough shared intention, shared effort, and shared care that the relationship is not being carried on one person's back. We want to start dating in a way that helps us notice whether the connection is becoming more balanced, more reciprocal, and more mutually beneficial over time. And when you start doing that, you will begin to feel emotionally connected, appreciated, desired, and valued. Relationships will feel safer, logical, rooted and grounded with intentions and actions you can trust and depend on over time. This is the grown-up perspective on mutuality and reciprocity. It is a better way to develop a connection for long-term viability. Now, if this message resonated with you and you want to go deeper into the principles and real-life practices behind grown-up dating, my book and companion workbook were created for exactly that purpose. The book helps you to understand the framework, and the workbook is like your own personal relationship coach, asking the questions and presenting exercises to help you apply it to your own patterns, decisions, and relationships. Get the ebook alone or both in a bundle. There's a discounted bundle being offered right now, so if that sounds like a right next step for you, you can find links in the box below. And if you'd like help applying what we talked about here today regarding mutuality and reciprocity to your own dating life, I also offer one-on-one coaching through my Midlife Dating Reset program. It is a 4-week coaching experience with 4 60-minute sessions, light email support, and practical assignments. And you can find the details and the link in the description below. Otherwise, stay with me because in part 5, we're going to talk about compatibility in midlife dating, how to know if the fit is real. I'll be discussing the aspects of compatibility and how to know if your temperament, general interests, and core values actually match. We'll look at how to tell the difference between attraction and real fit, why matching or complementary temperaments matter so much, and how to identify the kinds of incompatibilities that can create strain later, even when early chemistry feels strong. Now, if you've ever stayed in something because it felt promising, only to realize later that the fit was off in some very important ways, the next video is going to help you out tremendously. Now, before you go, if you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll subscribe, tap the notification bell, and give the video a thumbs up. I would really love to hear from you in the comments. Tell me which area of mutuality and reciprocity matter most to you in dating right now. Mutual respect, mutual investment, financial clarity, or reciprocity in attachment. And if you know someone who keeps ending up in one-sided dating situations and needs a more practical and emotionally mature way to approach connections, please share this video with them. Well, that's all for part 4. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cathy Bracken, and I will see you in the next video. Make today amazing and be well.